Social Security is one of the most important decisions you have to make, and it's irreversible. So when should you take it? As early as 62? As late as age 70? Or maybe your full retirement age at age 67? The answer is not always obvious. This is episode 21 of the SWBC Uncharted Wealth podcast. When should you take Social Security? Hello and welcome to SWBC's Uncharted Wealth podcast, where we help you explore the financial landscape and help you navigate your journey to and through retirement with clarity and confidence. I'm Mike Walters. I'm a certified financial planner and a wealth advisor here at SWBC. In this episode, we're going to talk about the key factors of when you should be claiming Social Security. We'll talk about break-even analysis, opportunity costs, and why delaying benefits isn't always the right answer, despite what conventional wisdom might tell you. So we will start off by talking about what actually changes depending on when you claim Social Security. And we'll start with the basics, okay? So if you're claiming Social Security as early as possible, which would be age 62, you are taking a 25 to 30% haircut on what your full retirement age benefit would have been. We'll talk about that in a second. If you're claiming at 70, okay, so this is the opposite side of the spectrum. This is the latest you can take Social Security is age 70. You will get a higher benefit than what your full retirement age benefit would have been, okay? It's usually about 8% per year more every year that you wait, okay? And so that brings us to full retirement age, FRA. Okay, this is usually going to be age 66 or 67, depending on what year you were born. But most people nowadays, when they're looking at their Social Security, they're usually falling into that 66 or 67 category. Now, once you choose when to start taking Social Security, your benefits are locked in. You cannot go back and change, or not anymore. They used to be able to do that, but they don't let you do that anymore for whatever reason. But it's locked in now, right? So you have to remember, Social Security is not just a monthly check. I mean, this is going to be part of your guaranteed income stream for life. So you need to have intention when deciding when to take your Social Security. Now, how long do you have to live for it to be beneficial when you delay? Okay, so this is called doing a break-even analysis, right? The break-even is typically somewhere between ages 80 and 82. And so what that means is if you start taking Social Security at 62, you just, sum up how much you're going to get every single year over the rest of your estimated lifetime. And then do the same calculation for what your benefit would be, let's say at 67 or 70, okay? And then when you're looking at those calculations, whatever that break-even is to where, hey, when you're making more money, annually because you have a higher benefit, reaches the amount that you would have accumulated over the same time frame at a slower benefit or lower benefit, that would be your break-even point. So if you live past that break-even point, typically delaying your benefit is going to be more beneficial because you'll have a higher guaranteed payout for more time. But mortality risk, your health status, now, and, if you have any kind of family history, and what your lifestyle goals, that's all going to matter when deciding when to take Social Security. In delaying it is just a bet on your longevity. Okay, so if you live long, you win. If not, you might be leaving some money on the table. Now, before I jump into more things to think about, you need to make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Okay, so our landing page is now live. So go ahead and click the link down at the bottom. If you want to learn more about the Uncharted Wealth podcast or myself, but make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Please like and comment if, we like to see activity. So don't be a silly goose and subscribe. Now, what is the opportunity cost of delaying? Delaying your Social Security means that you have to pay your living expenses from somewhere else. And a lot of time it's going to come from your portfolio or your investments. Especially if you don't have an emergency fund or cash savings, right? A war chest, like some very smart people have mentioned in the past. You have to take money out of your portfolio. And Well, that money could have been invested instead. So what's the cost of missing out on that growth? Now, a lot of smarter people than I in this community would say to use a realistic discount rate when trying to figure out the trade-off, right? So using maybe between 4 and 5% returns. And if your portfolio earns more than the value of delaying, okay, which would be the value of receiving that income instead, it may not be worth it, okay? So because delaying Social Security, it's not free. I mean, you're missing out on certain things. It's gonna cost maybe in the form of your portfolio growing, flexibility with your liquidity options, or maybe just even having peace of mind knowing that you're either paying something off early or you're not having to dip into your portfolio. And some risks that are going to impact that decision. Okay, the first one is sequence of returns risk. It basically means that you're withdrawing more from your portfolios than what it's earning. Okay, so long term, you are essentially pulling out more than just interest and dividends. You are pulling out principal. And over time, if your withdrawal rate is higher than your earnings rate, obviously it's going to go down to zero. And again, running out of money is not an option. Another risk here is policy risk. Now, we can probably have a whole nother podcast episode about what governments can do to Social Security benefits, have a discussion on whether you think they're even going to be here in the next 10, 15, 20 years. But we don't know what the future holds. My crystal ball is broken, so I can't tell you. But if you delay Social Security, maybe the next administration comes in and changes benefits, or maybe 10 to 15 years from now, those benefits get changed, right? So nobody really knows, but you just have to be aware of any type of policy risks or political risks that may come in and potentially slash or increase benefits. You never know. Another risk is just regret. You know, regretting that you're not doing the things you want to be doing because you're not getting as much income yet, like you're delaying your Social Security, or the emotional impact of not making the right decision. Right? I think that could be something that, hey, if you took very early and 5 years down the road, you're like, man, I could have had a higher guaranteed benefit for the rest of my life had I just waited because I didn't really need this money. There's really no way to go back and change that, right? And then the last risk I want to talk about is your health span risk, okay? So when you're younger, you're typically more healthier, you're more active, right? Having more income during those healthier years can allow you to be a little bit more flexible, a little bit more free, spend more money kind of willy-nilly, on the grandkids or going on vacations or what have you. And if you're not able to do that while you're young and healthy, it's all of a sudden then you get really old and then you're getting all this money and it's like you can't even spend it. So it's like, whatever. So the real question isn't how much am I gonna get? The question is, when will I enjoy it the most? It's probably the most important thing to think about. And last, there's some personal factors that you should be considering. Number one, do you have other income sources, right? Are you receiving a pension? Do you have an annuity that's paying income? Or are you doing one of these phased retirements where maybe you're getting some part-time work where you can comfortably delay Social Security? Are you married or have you been widowed? Are you a widow or a widower? Because spousal benefits and these survivor benefits matter. There's a lot of strategies out there where you can delay your Social Security benefit and maybe take your spouse's spousal benefit in the meantime, so you can still get something. There's a lot of things that people don't know they qualify for. Third, what's your health outlook and your family longevity history? Okay, so a lot of people say, oh, I want to take it as soon as possible because I don't think these benefits are going to be here, in 5 or 10 years or whatever, whatever the case may be. But comes to find out the people in their family live into their hundreds and, they don't really have, many health issues, right? So it's like you need as much guaranteed income as possible to not only fight inflation, but keep your spending in line with your lifestyle. And taking it early may not give you that in the long term. And then last, do you want to keep your taxable income lower in those early years, right, between 62 to 70, because you want to do Roth conversions or IRMA planning? If you remember, we talked about IRMA in the past. Those are your Medicare premium surcharges. If you're doing any kind of tax planning like that, it may be wise to delay your Social Security. So just some personal things to think about. Which brings us into our uncharted territory for this episode. Now, conventional wisdom is going to tell you that delaying your Social Security benefits is always going to be the answer because it's always going to give you the highest payout over your lifetime, which is true. However, nobody knows how long your lifetime is going to be. So it's kind of like one of those what if crystal ball kind of things that we were talking about. And the traditional advice assumes a 0% discount rate, meaning Social Security is risk-free. I think we all know Social Security should not be looked at as risk-free. Real-world planning involves opportunity cost and your expected returns on your portfolio and just what your personal preference are. So there's a lot more planning that goes into that. So you want to use a realistic discount rate of 4 to 5% when you're comparing the different claiming strategies. And delaying may not be optimal as well if it forces early portfolio withdrawals or reduces flexibility. Like I said, once you get to retirement, having a war chest 3 to 5 years of really safe, really stable money usually takes the place some of that with an emergency fund or excess cash holdings. If you have to dip into your portfolio because you don't have those things, that could be, in other words, shooting yourself in the foot over the long term. Okay. Now, the decision isn't always going to be the one with the highest lifetime payout. It's going to be the one that fits your life, your plan, and your priorities. Just like everything else that we've talked about on this podcast, claiming Social Security is not a one-size-fits-all decision. So whether you claim early, whether you're claiming later, the right answer is going to depend on your health, what your income needs are, and what your overall retirement and financial plan strategy is. So I'd encourage everyone to review your projected income at the different ages. Now, I don't think Social Security Administration sends out physical statements anymore, but you can always go online to www.ssa.gov, create your account if you've never done that, and you can always have access to your personal Social Security statement. And on there, it will show you what your projected benefits is at age 62, 63, 64, so on and so forth, all the way to age 70. It also has a lot of other good information, like if you were to pass away early, what kind of family benefits would be available for your family, and so on and so forth. So again, review your projected income, get that information from Social Security website, and then also talk to an advisor. See about your break-even points, like if that's something that you want to have calculated, or the opportunity cost of maybe investing instead, or even just the tax strategy. If you're doing Roth conversions or things like that, once you get into that 10-year runway period of age 59 and a half. But you don't want to make this decision in isolation, okay? Make it part of your overall retirement plan, because Social Security claiming is a big deal, and you need to take importance of that. So if you are within 10 years of retirement and you'd like to talk to somebody about when Social Security claiming is right for you, then go ahead and visit the landing page that will be in the description here at the bottom. You can always give us a call or shoot us an email as well if you'd like to get connected with an advisor. So I want to thank you, everybody, for joining us on the 21st episode of the Uncharted Wealth podcast. Remember, not everything that is talked about on this show is to be taken as financial advice, legal advice, or tax advice. You want to consult with your professionals for that stuff, and any opinions shared are mine and mine alone, not for anybody else with SWBC. So we'll see you next time. Peace. You just tell me when I need to start hublaring. I just hublandoed.
Investing involves certain risks, including possible loss of principal. You should understand and carefully consider a strategy's objectives, risks, fees, and expenses, and other information before investing. The views expressed in this commentary are subject to change and are not intended to be a recommendation or investment advice. Such views do not take into account the individual financial circumstances or objectives of any other investor that receives them. This information should not be considered a solicitation nor a recommendation of an offer to provide any service in any jurisdiction where it would be unlawful to do so under the laws of that jurisdiction. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. Please consult with your individual tax professionals and/or attorney for additional information.